So we're coming at you today with the rare, unfiltered, unedited, unscripted Fran Man rant video today. And I'm going to try to choose my words carefully, albeit this being unedited, unfiltered, unscripted, one take on the fly Fran Man content. We're getting back to the roots and origins of the channel. Now, because with that being said, the low quality production of this is going to make it rough around the edges, but my point stands nonetheless. And this is for whoever takes it. This is for whoever sees it and runs with it, but this does need to be documented. We have an instance of what I'm going to call this here, is I'm going to call this when Islam puts their panties and thigh highs on and threatens to unalive me in their own YouTube comment section. Now, this guy thinks this isn't going to be documented or noted because it's me. Me being a white American man that is almost 30, so he thinks this isn't going to be documented or noted because I have 271 subscribers and a southern accent, and because I'm low income, and because he thinks I'm stupid. He thinks there's going to be no repercussions for threatening to stab me 12 times because I pointed out that he's racist, and that his entire channel, which while I'm here at that part of it, that's what's good about having this in front of me here. The only demographic that he seems to have a problem with, and of course, so I kind of hit the nail on the head a little bit here with what this guy is. And this guy is an Islamic Anglophobe, in my opinion. So I'm going to call this video when Islam puts their panties and thigh highs on and threatens to unalive me, because I pointed out that they seem to have a hate boner for white Americans specifically, because he's targeted not one but two of the white people demographic of the United States. He's chosen two groups that are full of white guys. Doesn't matter if they're federal agents or not. He's chosen two groups that are specifically white Americans to have a hate boner for. But what he does, and this is what pissed him off, he's sitting here going on about, I'm just bashing evil racist Nazis and I'll stab you 12 times in real life if you try to call me racist because I'm bashing evil neo-Nazis. This isn't what he's doing, okay? And you can go and watch this video. I'm not going to show it because I'm not going to get into a copyright dispute with this guy. I'm just here to go over the comments and document that in fact, this guy is insane and needs to be put in a cage, and he is an ignorant regard, and so is his Canadian editor. Since this guy felt the need to threaten to murder me, which is something that I have had the FBI come to my door and bother me about before. So I hope the respective intelligence agencies of this individual's countries and his police come and try to institutionalize him and put him away, since he wants to threaten my life over me pointing out that he's an ignorant racist that has a problem with white Americans specifically, and he's too cowardly to say that. And that's apparent by listening to his videos where he's supposedly targeting neo-Nazi, quote-unquote, neo-Nazis. Right, even though he's talking about Americans in general, and he makes it apparent that he's talking about Americans in general because of, you need to pay attention to the phrasing he's using. He's going, oh, stupid Americans, these stupid Americans, and then he's having his editor show specifically pictures of white people in what's it called, LARPing, you know, he's showing archetypical pictures of what you would think is like a white neo-Nazi dissident. It's what the media shows you, like, oh, this is what a quote-unquote terrorist looks like, or like a white neo-Nazi terrorist looks along these lines. Like, those are the pictures that have surfaced of them in what the internet likes to call like LARPing gear, so on and so forth. Okay, but while those pictures are flashing, he's going, oh, these stupid Americans, da 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 da. That's a sign of ignorance right there, and that's what I started commenting about, and that's what got this Islamic extremist panties in a bunch, is that I pointed out that he's doing typical Anglophobe behavior, which is blanketly referring to the entire continental region of America when you're talking specifically about white U.S. males. Okay? He's specifically talking about white U.S. males, and he's using the word America. But anyway, let's get into these comments here, which is what this is really all about. Okay? Because let's read my comment. Islam owned pale slaves before the Atlantic slave trade. This is historically true. This is a historically true statement. Islam owned pale slaves before the Atlantic slave trade. So I'm gonna call shenanigans on your claim that pale people, which is what you mean when you say Americans, are the dumbest, which makes me smarter than you and I'm stronger than you. So who let you out of your cage? So right away, this dude's whole 52-minute video is about how Americans are the dumbest. Oh, that's the thing. Yeah, Americans are the dumbest racist. Okay, which is a stupid argument. Right then and there, Americans are the dumbest racist, and he's talking about white United States males specifically, and he can't say that because he's a coward and he doesn't want to get in trouble with YouTube for being racist, which is what he is. And that video was ultimately racist because the point of that video was to say American white U.S. racists are feds, and they made a, what's it called, entrapment organization, this, that, and the other. I didn't even watch the whole video, so I'm not going to try to break down what the whole video is, right? But this guy throws a fit over this comment. Why aren't you in a cage? And we'll come to find out he does need to be in a cage because he threatened to stab me 12 times. Okay, is the better question, are you under the impression that anything that goes on in this country is fair, or are you just taking a shot at the demographics you think you are allowed to take shots at? Which is what he's doing. He's going for low-hanging fruit and what he thinks he's allowed to go after. Either way, you come off as a simpleton and a bigot to me, so tell me how you aren't a weak fool. What the hell are you talking about? Are you actual lunatic? I'm bashing neo-Nazis and you're over here talking about Islamic age slavery. No, actually, I'm jumping the gun and getting into the nuts and bolts of what he's actually talking about because he's too much of a coward to say what he actually wants to say. Which is, he's trying to say pale people bad, non-pale people good. And I already know what he would say. He would say, well, they're imperialist and slavery and segregation and because he's talking about white U.S. males. So of course he would jump right into referencing the atrocities that you would hear in like a kindergarten history class, which is what makes him mad. So he's like, I'm over here bashing neo-Nazis, and you're talking about I'm talking about how there are dumber and more ignorant demographics out there than white U.S. males, which is what his video was about, and it made him mad. No, it's pretty obvious. And let's get into what I say. Oh wait, no, this is where he threatens to murder me, so let's not jump over it. I'm bashing neo-Nazis and you're over here talking about Islamic age slavery. Also, I'd like to make a point that no one's strong when they have 12 different holes punctured in their lungs. So right there, he threatened to murder me for being right. He avoided any intellectual discourse with me. He tried to dismiss me as crazy for disagreeing with him in his own comment section, and then he jumped within. So he got one response out before he threatened to murder me. He got one response out before he threatened to murder me, and then let's just jump to Jeff the Killer profile pic, by the way. Oh, so you are stupid. I'm not even going to read what I said. Well, no, let's read what I said. No, it's pretty obvious that you are such a racist that you are blatantly saying the word Americans while only showing pictures of white people in a way that would imply that you think that only white people are Americans and that white Americans in general are weak and stupid. So I figured I'd point out some non-white instances of slave ownership and genocide to remind you that you're da-da-da-da-da. And then I point out that I'm willing to spar him, right? Point out that I'm willing to spar him. Let's see what his intelligent response is, since my demographic is the dumbest demographic, according to him, and he's too much of a coward to say that in his 52-minute long Seethe video, which I question the integrity and accuracy of if this is how he behaves. I question his ability to present anything in a factually accurate manner, and I would imagine the research that he has done in his video is faulty. I would imagine that his sources are faulty, and I would imagine that he's an irrational spurg that listens to anything that supports his view of the world when it comes to information, and his video is probably full of that amount of bias, as is his research. Okay, so let's see his response. Oh, so you are stupid. Okay, that clarifies so much. I do not edit my videos. My Canadian in bold. Canadian, oh wow. Oh no, mate, a Canadian. Like, so it's infallible. This Canadian is incapable of bigotry or something, and that's why it has to be in bold. Like, or what? Because, is it because Canada is in North America? Is that supposed to make it not like, what's so important about your editor being Canadian that it needs to be in bold? Does neither him or I were cherry picking people by skin color? You're talking about United States neo-Nazis. They're going to be mostly white. So what do you mean you're definitely cherry-picking demographics to talk about, because you consistently talk about United States neo-Nazi groups specifically, so you're specifically talking about white men. So you are cherry-picking, actually. And you use vague terms such as American to try to generalize, but you're talking specifically. American is an all-enfranchising term for people of every race and creed who have American nationality. Also, the only way we're fighting is if you approach me in public and I turn your ribcage into Play-Doh. So that's 2 of his 3 responses are threats to murder me. 2 of his 3 responses are threats to murder me, and then immediately after, people who actually use the police to attempt to murder me jump into the conversation, and he hearts their reactions. He hearts their reactions because they're saying things that he automatically assumes are true about me. When these are people that attempted to murder me using the police because I proved that they're pussies and that they're racist fools and that their philosophy and worldview is from a place of bias and misinformation. Okay? So, guy who's already refused to spar me and said and guy who can be provoked to wanting to murder someone within 2 comments, and people who actually attempted to murder me are now having a circle jerk and pretending they're tougher than me, even though none of them will agree to spar me. The people who used the police via Discord to attempt to unalive me that jumped into the comment section because I posted it on my YouTube community tab, their entire friend group has been running from me for years, and they refuse to fight me. They have refused to fight me for years. Every single one of them, even the ones that live in Tampa, which is like 2.5 hours away from me. Even the ones that live in Tampa, which is about 2.5 hours away from me, will not fight me. They've refused. And now Zxhenova, Mr. 12 holes, Mr. I'm gonna stab you 12 times if you leave a YouTube comment that questions whether or not I am a bigot when I start blanketly speaking generally about an entire demographic of the United States, which has cultural ties to the very founding of the United States of America, by the way. So you're going to question nationalists who have ties to the founder of the nation demographically, the founders of the nation demographically. You're going to question nationalist organizations for that demographic of the United States, and you're going to expect no one from that demographic to look at the phrasing that you're using within the first 5 minutes of the videos and then question if you're a racist when what you're saying within the first 5 minutes of the video is you white United States males are the dumbest racists on the planet. That's a bold claim that I rightfully offered evidence to the contrary for. I rightfully offered evidence to your claim. I rightfully offered evidence to the contrary to your claim of white United States males specifically are the dumbest demographic in the United States. And you threatened to murder me within 2 comments, and then you started having a circle jerk with people that actually attempted to murder me. So I'm going to go ahead and say that your response has proven me right in my claim that white United States males are not the dumbest demographic of racist, and that it is perhaps actually the demographic that you come from that might be the dumbest demographic of racist on the planet, that being mixed race Islamic people. Probably gonna give that up to you guys as the dumbest group of racists on the planet. So this has been a rare Fran Man unedited, unscripted commentary video coming at you, and we're gonna call this one when Islamic Discord moderators put on panties and thigh highs and threaten to unalive me over in their own YouTube comment section. That's what this one is going to be called.